he had a house on there. And with like a little dog on there. So when I went behind my house one time, I remember he called me in the backyard at 4:44 in the morning. Son, meet me out back. And my wife will attest. She said one night she said like you were grabbing him like within those weeks. It's like you was grabbing him. It was like I said we was hugging. I was back when we got married, and I was hugging him when he came, made it to the wedding, and I was just locked in that hug. That's what I did at the show. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just locked in that hug. When I'm locked in that hug, it's like I'm really that's him. You know what I'm saying? And so when we went in that backyard, and I looked back and I said I saw my house. My house looked like how it was on his picture. Wall.
Yeah.
And that's when I saw the shooting stars that night. That's when one star was burning white and the other one was red over here. And just 2 weeks ago, like a week before the funeral, my son had gave me a red star and a white star. And he said, here, Papa told me to give this to you.
Them signs be coming through.
Yep.
And so when he gave me that red star and that white star, and I went back and I saw that white star and that red star up in the sky in the backyard of my house, where I had made a log, I lit a light, I put his watch down there that he had on when he got killed, and his necklace when he had killed, and a ring with a skull on there when he got killed. I almost say, Pops, I need you to come into this space. So now, like I said, what church say this, that,
You
and the
can't
other.
tell me. You can't have experiences like that and tell me that God is small.
Right.
Like there is a whole like spiritual realm that we are not attuned to unless you tap in.
We lose access to the senses.
Yes.
And in my
real.
studies, the senses are what would be attributed to sin, which is why the Bible talks against it so much. But it's like we wouldn't have come into these bodies to have this experience just to do nothing.
To be here.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the senses are the things that you see, the things you can touch. Like I said, the things that feel good to the body. But the body is a vehicle. The body is a temporary vessel for us to be able to express ourselves.
Yeah.
Because after you're not in it anymore, you got to express yourself in other ways, in much larger ways as you've experienced.
Because
What you
what
just
is
said was powerful.
it was.
Well, you said it was a vehicle.
It is a vehicle.
So we're going to do metaphor. Imagine, like, because I was talking, like, churches, like, I get it. Come to church, but the churches are divided. Just like the vehicles are divided. Come to Toyota. Come to Ford. Come to Chevy. Come to Kia. Come to Mercedes. Come to Baptist. Come to Methodist. Come to Catholic.
The body is the temple. The body is the church. The whole Bible is talking about the body.
The heart is the seed.
The body. What were you talking about with
the heart?
About Dr. Anita Phillips.
Yeah, Dr. Anita.
She was talking about at the very beginning of The Garden Within, she's talking about how she was studying the Bible, but also going through her one of her psychology classes because she's an actual licensed clinical psychologist. So she said that they were learning about the nervous system, and it took her back to a pea plant that she had in third grade that she planted in her backyard garden, and she looked at this neuron and said, this neuron looks like the pea plant. So that shows God's creation
that is the
and
garden.
Our body are one and the same.
Yeah.
And again, like they talk about how things you eat, like walnuts. Walnuts look like what?
A brain.
A brain. So it has omega-3 fatty acids in it for what? For your brain. Literally everything
Broccoli
God
looks
created.
like your lungs.
Right.
You said what looks like your lungs?
Broccoli.
The little things. On
But
the
it
broccoli
also
that
looks
breathe
like
in the air.
trees.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's
all
like
connected, man.
Yeah.
Go
So
fish.
that's the garden.
right.
Your
and
body is the garden.
So when they tell
It's
me
true for
like,
you.
oh, don't worship nature, it's not me worshiping nature. It's me honoring God's creation because he put
acknowledgement.
everything out here for our consumption. So if you believe that the two are separate, you don't believe in God.
Right.
There's no way. He created creation, but he also
Yeah.
created us. But he also gave us a blueprint
Right.
on how to heal our bodies, on how to heal our minds. He gave us, like we were talking about earlier, like the imprint of the DNA. That's the lessons that we're supposed to learn. It's imprinted on our DNA. We
came
literally
here for
have the
experiences,
answers.
Right.
And then we also have God telling us throughout the way what roads to take. But we got the imprint,
What
the map is in our
roads to
DNA.
take with our vehicles.
Right. And it's like it's all connected.
I'm reminded, and it's so, we're not, folks want to keep us to knowledge 1920. You know what I'm saying? And it's just
that
like
ain't
it's
even
like
our
and it's
knowledge.
just like no, we have to, like you said. You said this is the first time our generation we've had to live to live.
Yeah.
But the key word is like I don't know, say it's freedom. But really think about what that word means, freedom. Like, how far do you go to truly be free to be in your authentic mind? Like, no, I'm free in the state of mind of citizenship. I'm free in the state of mind of what you say spiritually I'm supposed to do. I'm free from this, that, and the other. I'm free from this form of education. It's almost kind of say it's like, no, I need to wipe my whole mind clean
Of what that means.
of
Unsubscribe from
everything that I've been
Expectations.
chained to.
Mhm.
Because even like to your point, it's like you don't really this system does not want you to be free. It wants you to be a part of the system.
That's
so that
why
it,
it's the matrix.
why it's
a
You're
matrix.
sitting in a
It's right.
pod, and your
Right.
energy is being siphoned to use to feed this false body that is a lie. And we're being cut off from our authenticity. So as soon as you wake up, that's why you get flushed out of the thing, because you're of no use to them anymore.
But that's why I love children
I almost
so
want to just collectively
much.
meditate right now.
No, for real. That's why I love children so much.
Yeah.
Because I always say I love kids because kids do whatever the hell they want to all day long.
Yeah.
But kids are the purest form of who they will ever be.
Yeah.
I'm
We
gonna
are the
have a
purest
podcast with
form
my
of who they'll
3-year-old.
ever be. Oh my gosh, yes. We
Just-
We
should.
gotta have the kids, okay?
Just so they can
Kinsey,
be.
And King.
yeah.
That's my
I
son.
just-
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I was just talking to my daughter on the way over. I said, "Money, you got a potty? No, me not art. No, me not art."
But kid,
And I'm
that's,
saying, "Who? What?"
but
I'm
you know
saying,
what? That
okay.
tenacity
Okay,
is
but-
that's her gift. Like
I mean,
we
she's
live
so-
in our
yeah.
gifts as children,
Yeah.
and we that is washed away
No,
from
me
us
not art.
so soon in life. It's like, and I feel like
That's why I took
even
my
with
baby out of
Kinsey,
school. I ain't even
I'm
gonna
the
hold
best
you.
parent with her.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, now I get what that looks like.
Yeah.
So my baby lives in the purest form of who she is all day long, and I encourage it. She made me a picture the other day, and at the top it said "Born to Be," and she put ... me. And she said, "I'm gonna be on stage," and she drew herself on the stage. She
Oh,
was
I
the
saw
only
you
one in the picture. Yeah, I
posted.
posted
Yes,
it.
that
She
was
was the
so
only one in the picture with
beautiful.
clothes on, for first of all, and the peasants was way down under her on this stage. She said, "Mommy, I'm gonna be amazing. I'm gonna be on stages. I want to sing. I want to act. I want to perform. I just want." She's herself all the time,
Yeah.
and I said, "Girl, I love this for you."
So shall it be. This is the way.
Yeah,
I did the same
she's
thing.
so
and here's
sure
what it
about
is.
who she is,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
if I had been like that my whole life, I was like that as a very
Imagine,
young
you know.
child. But I really am intentional about honing in on who my kids are.
Yeah.
And none of my kids are shy. I was shy, but
Mhm.
I parent my kids intentionally to be who they are, because I don't ever want them to have that as a barrier.
And that's why I did listen to my intuition that told me to pull my son out of school. He's in 3rd grade right now, and I homeschool him
That's a-
because I saw something changing in him. I saw his light getting dim.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting bullied, kids messing with him. And even the art teachers were saying, like, you shouldn't draw this, because he likes Among Us. So he was drawing like
Yeah.
the imposters with knives and blood and all this other stuff. And they
Yeah.
think a kid's disturbed if they're doing stuff
Exactly.
like that. This boy is
Simple.
an
We got
artist.
all these horror
Yeah.
movies.
Right.
What like
right.
watch a horror
It's not
movie,
real
but
blood. Like, he's
don't
not
make no
stabbing
art
anybody.
about what you saw,
You know what I
or
mean?
you
It's
crazy.
about art. Am I
Stabbing
teaching
anybody
him
in
to
real
be a
life.
serial
Like,
killer?
Chucky Part
No.
Right.
season 3 of Chucky coming out. That little crazy. Ooh.
The stuff
Yeah.
we watched as
Michael
kids.
Myers won't
And
die.
he didn't understand why the teacher was saying, don't
Yeah.
do this, don't draw that, don't express yourself this way. When I tell you, this boy is so talented
He
at
is.
art. Like, he does digital art, like just painting anything. I'm not going to discourage him from drawing blood because it makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to box
Like
the
I'm
kids
explaining to him,
in.
he knows what this is. He ain't gonna go out and do it because I parent
Right.
him to know better.
Right. He's never tried to hurt a fly. He's the most loving little kid ever.
He can Minecraft like
Oh
nobody's
my
business.
gosh, this boy
He
builds
made he
mansions.
built a mansion and the basement
Mhm.
had a basement.
Mhm.
He said my
It is
basement
so
got a
funny.
basement.
He'll be like,
I'm
"Mommy, play Minecraft with me," and I'm playing Minecraft with him, and he just ends up telling me what to do the whole time because he's like,
You're not
like I'm
doing that
real
right.
primitive apparently because I
Yeah.
don't know what I'm doing on there. But we never played games where you had to build them.
Right.
We played games that were already finished. Like I'm like, y'all
Dun,
ain't playing games where you
dun,
building
dun,
stuff.
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, like the boxes were already there, but
Like,
that's
yeah.
what Minecraft
Right.
looks like. But you would have to build that world.
Yeah, and that's the
Like,
difference between.
Got time
these
for
kids
this.
build different.
But
Yeah.
that's because like they
But
like
they
you were
supposed
saying
to,
the
though.
freedom.
Yeah.
We were
Right.
conditioned to be boxed in, and we like broke free from that box. We like
Mhm.
our parents had to subscribe to it, but we looked around and we like,
Nah.
okay, we got the internet, we got access. Okay, hold on, we got to break out of this box. And I'd be
Right.
damned if my kids had to subscribe to that. So
I
that's why a lot
mean,
of us have
literally,
parent
though.
issues. I think because we don't see eye to eye
Yeah.
when
We're
it
all
comes to
growing
how
up
we raise
together.
our kids. We literally are.
Right.
When you say that, when somebody said
Right.
like we don't need parents to be kids, but it's like as I'm a parent, I'm growing and learning too. I'm learning how to be a parent while I'm unlearning to be, you know what I'm saying, unlearning my trauma. While I'm unlearning, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, a lot
literally.
of things that are not acceptable now these days. So I'm like I'm learning, unlearning, all while trying to teach my kid.
Every time I
Kids.
have to
Right.
lecture my
Right.
one of
You
my
know, so-
daughters, I feel like it is God speaking to me through me to them.
Yeah.
So usually when I gotta lecture my kid, it really be a message for me, and I'm like, ooh, okay, God, I heard you, but I have to be like, that was for you, but I have to be, I'm convicted every
Yeah.
time. I'm like, ooh, okay, so you're showing me a pattern that you got from me that I gotta
That's
teach
real.
you how to unlearn.
So now let's say let's go ahead and throw your year out. What's
What
your
year?
the year that you was born in?
She a 90s baby.
Can be
Yeah.
92, 90.
Let's say that.
She ain't gonna tell you.
I'm old enough to be your big brother. Cool. That's but I say that because some of us, like we're raised in the church and we're raised in the internet.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when I say that, it's just like we're raised in the church
I
where it's like
remember
where
when
you
the
didn't have a
internet came
choice.
into the house.
We didn't have no choice.
had
You
no
was
choice.
going
I was
on
about
Sunday.
6 years
Wednesday,
old,
And it
when
got
we
to the
got
point-
the computer.
Yeah, when we got to
So-
the point where I was just like, 15 is where I said, well, if I'm gonna be in the church, let me start taking it upon myself to learn it on myself. You know, it was interesting because I remember asking God to show me poetry, and He took me to Proverbs.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's poet. That's when that was another just like, okay, I hear
Songs too.
you. Like a Psalms,
Proverbs,
Proverbs,
anything
and,
David wrote, Song of
yeah.
Solomon.
And then on top of that, but then if I go over here, it's like you talking about internet. You had no choice. This thing called the Oregon Trail. And
Oh yeah.
yeah. This here is called a floppy disk.
Yep.
Yeah.
This how you type.
This
We
is
had
how
to
you
take
type.
typing classes.
That's how you
Yeah.
have. So it's like we're not just kids who was born in the internet. When I say like that, I mean I'm talking about
We the sandwich generation.
the
The
grand internet.
foundations. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in the
Yeah.
grand internet to where it's like do do do
Dial up.
do 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 do. My Black Planet
To
name is
this
deep
day.
inside here.
Oh, not the Black
Like,
Planet.
you know what I'm
We
saying?
have
Like,
to know how
Yeah.
to code though,
They had to,
because
you know,
when
right,
you
you had to code for
understand
that.
that the back side of it is like literally it's all written out in code. If something ain't right in the code, it's not gonna look right out here.
Yep.
We're the same way. That code is our subconscious.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that everything that's imprinted in that code is going to be something that you want reflected out here.
So you saying the code is to the internet what DNA is to us?
Absolutely. It's one and the
Exactly.
same. They look the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. They look the same.
Because you know how to code, so you get that.
Right.
But if you even look
Like-
at it, I'm sure y'all all learned what is it, YTG, whatever it is, the sequencing. There's DNA sequencing
Yep.
and it mirrors code. Code is numbers. The sequencing for DNA is letters.
Yep.
It is like it,
The zeros
and
literally-
ones.
it's-
That's the
we
Matrix last
literally
number.
live in the
Yeah,
Matrix.
My
exactly,
guy
the
Spako,
zeros and
he look at his
ones.
phone.
Yeah.
And I
This
see
a
the
real
Matrix on there.
esoteric conversation,
Yeah.
and I love it.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, no, but it's
We taking it there, okay?
But I mean, I think it all goes back to really like, because my vision for this whole episode was healing through creativity. I didn't tell y'all that, but
Okay.
but that
Okay,
was
like we just
telling.
now we can talk about
I
what
couldn't
we
tell you.
talk about. We've been over for an hour.
no,
Feels
but
like 20 minutes.
but all of that goes together.
It does.
Because it's the growth. It's like what we've learned
yeah.
is how we're able to heal our community moving forward. Is because we understand that balance between where we came from, where we're going, everything in the middle,
Healing through
and we got
creativity.
the blueprint on how to get there, because our generation literally sandwiches the old and the new.
Yeah.
We had pen and paper, but we got the internet. We got Encyclopedia Britannica, we got Google. Like,
Yep.
and we understand that, and like, and I feel like that all melds together.
Yeah.
And us being able to reach people and be able to heal our community as a whole,
I
because
love
we
that,
can't
though.
stay in the old way of doing things.
Nah,
We
that
create. We're
cycle gotta
literally
go.
creating
Yeah,
a
we
new
got,
way of
because
doing
you have to
things.
evolve. You can't cycle and do the same thing over and over again. You have to evolve at some point. The seed has to break and grow.
Right. I
So
love
we've been,
that.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
We talk about the garden
We've
within.
been
It's the
stuck
seed.
under the concrete in our little seed, and then next thing you know, it's like, man, no matter what we've been through, no matter what's been cemented on top of us to try to hold us down, we
Yeah.
popping out. Let a little crack be it. Man, the internet was that crack. Let a little crack be in that little stuff. We like,
They
what's that
like,
light?
wait, what?
You ever
Getting up
wonder who
outta
you would be
there.
without it?
Without the internet?
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
I
I'll tell
never
you
thought
what.
about
But
that.
in this moment, and I say that, then
I would still be who I am.
well,
I wouldn't.
let's say we
all.
we would be influenced differently, right?
Yeah.
I look at it like, this whole concept of what DC and Marvel does with like these alternative dimensions that are really just kind of thrown off by a decision. If this decision was made, if this decision
that's
was
so
made,
I call
and
that
if
timeline
this is
jumping.
like it's right, like the
Mhm.
butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
Oh,
Mhm.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Um,
I did that while we
yeah.
were talking about the smoking the grass stuff.
Mhm.
So I had been doing that since I was 13 years old.
You saw the butterfly.
You know what I mean?
Effect,
I
or,
did. I did.
Just,
And I
yeah.
thought about what would my life be and what would I have done, what decisions would I have
Had I
made
made
if
this
I
and
had
not that.
never even started that? Who would I be? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like jumped into like that
Her.
reality. Not literally the reality, but mentally.
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 You know,
Like
so
your
I see what you're saying. Who
soul jumping.
mentally would you be? Yeah, where would you jump if that
I
had
would
never
not,
been a factor?
absolutely not be who I am now without the
Mhm.
internet, because I feel like, again, going back to my social anxiety that I've had my whole life, I feel like I would not be nearly as outgoing as I've been
Yeah.
able to be on the internet. I would definitely be in a shell somewhere. I would
Mhm.
probably be doing research
You be a librarian.
in a room. No,
just-
not a library. It's too social.
Or
I would be like a
Oh,
researcher.
A research
not a
library.
I would be in a
librarian,
lab
it's too
somewhere.
social.
Yeah, I would be in a
But you'll
lab
still be in a
somewhere,
place of
but
knowledge, it
I would
feels,
be
yeah.
doing something very intellectual. So I'm an 80s baby. I grew up on a different world. I grew up on the
Yeah.
Cosby Show. I own all 8 seasons of the Cosby Show on DVD. I've watched them all probably 100 times. I know them all word for word. Okay, so I'm Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby, the Huxtables raised me. Okay,
Yeah.
I need that for
with
my
that
kids.
being said, right? With that being said, I wanted to be Kim from A Different World. So
Mhm.
Kim was the only brown girl on the show. I'm a brown girl. We wasn't popping until recently, brown girls. But I saw a brown girl on TV,
Mhm.
and she went to a HBCU, and she was a doctor. I'm like, I want that. I want to be that. So I'm like, I want to be her. So my whole life,
representation
I
is
knew I was
amazing.
going to be going to Spelman, and I
Mhm.
was going to go study, do my medical at Emory, and I was going to be an OBGYN. My whole childhood, that was my life.
Yeah.
So I probably would have went to medical school and then been like, this is too patient-y, because even though I did patient care for
Mhm.
13 years of my life, but I probably would be in research by now. Like be it studying DNA or something,
Mhm.
molecules and breaking down things.
Which you're still doing.
Kinda, yeah.
You were just breaking down DNA
Oh yeah.
like 2 minutes ago.
Right.
Sorry, I went all Twilight Zone with y'all. It's like-
No, I love it. That's what we want.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah.
But one thing that I feel like, since the topic is healing through creativity, like you started off talking about your father and talking about how you transmute that. And I'm like, I love that so much. Same song I've been talking about this whole time, Ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
I also talk about in there how I take my grief and I eat it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I got murder and death in my achievements because I'm transmuting it
Yeah.
and I'm turning it into fuel for my vehicle.
Yeah. And literally
to
changing your
further
DNA for
this
the next
mission.
generation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's all like ordained from the Most High. Cause like I never even had the thought to be like, I'm going to get into music, you know, like it just
Mhm.
fell in my lap. And I just feel like that was a artistic way to teach people and show people how to take the higher path or how to take a path that's different than what they've seen or what they've heard. Because I really don't see a lot of people doing, and I see a lot of it now doing the spiritual rap. Didn't really see a lot of that. Like we had our
the beautiful thing about
people
music
like that,
though
but
is it gets on their
now.
conscience and their subconscious.
Exactly.
Because it, like, even if you don't listen to it, if you play it while you sleep, you still get the message, even without knowing you're getting the message.
Right.
So
That's why I'm so intentional about everything that I say, because I feel a responsibility, you know, to really like show people and teach them. That's why I say I'm more than a rapper. I teach, you know, theology and astrology. So, you know what I mean? Because that's like what I'm trying to show people. Like, you don't have to think one way. You don't have to box yourself in, and just really to be your best self. I don't really think we should be emulating like anything outside of what is authentic to us.
That,
you know, so I feel like that is an important part of healing. And we're all creative in a sense, because we were created by a very, very creative creator.
Yeah. And
so
that's
we're
literally what
that.
humans do. Like, that's when he says that he created us in his image.
Exactly.
It's because we're the only, we have like a subconscious, but we're one of the only species that have creativity. Yeah, definitely. Because like to a degree, because I'm like octopuses and gorillas, they make tools to be able to do what they do instinctually.
Look at the creativity that God even had to have to make those animals. Because like you said, they run on a certain type of like a blueprint.
But I guess we have creative expression, should I say?
Free will thing going on that is a totally different experience than just like, I see this, I do that. If I wiggle my hand in front of my cat's face, he's gonna attack my hand because it's in his instincts to do that. And we suppress all of our instincts because we're like, no, we can be back, we can do something different, we can go this and that way, and look how we've evolved from that.
It's almost speak is like how even though animals might not be creative, it's in their instinct and their blueprint that has inspired us in so many ways.
Right.
World Wide Web.
Boom.
I sat and I watched this spider make this web, and I'm just like, I gotta do that.
Yeah.
And not just the internet, but like we all become our own little internets or our own little brands, our own business. Where like for me, people like, you everywhere. How you know everybody? Like I said, no, I just have I have my churches over here. I have these meetings over here. I know how that. So it's 6 degrees of separation. I said, I'm about to divide it by 2 and meet you in 2 different places. Like you just saw me over here and saw me over here yesterday. I know where you gonna be at,
right?
Because it's only gonna be six places where you gonna go, and so it's just a matter of time, you know.
Where we gonna cross
that's how when I even recruited, when I was recruiting the students, that was like with families. I was like, listen, you want to build community? I'm that teacher that's gonna actually see you when you go to church. I'm that teacher that's gonna see you when you at the store. I'm that teacher that's gonna see you. You're gonna be like Mr. Saunders, and it's gonna make you feel like you actually have a connection with somebody in your community,
and that's how you reach
know what I'm saying. So, that's real. That's happened to me in real time, you know. So
I love that, and like we need that community. I think we live in that time again. It goes back to the internet. Like I think that's what makes this time different, because there was so much separation before between the celebrities and the regular people. And I think now, like, that gap.
My daughter said I'm Naptown famous.
I mean,
there are definitely
high
levels,
key.
though.
Everybody do know you because you definitely be everywhere.
Well, she just met and he just
yeah, but if you be out here,
we know you now.
If you been out here, you know Eric be everywhere.
Yeah, it's really truly been a blessing, man.
Laying down the foundation.
Yeah, so it truly is. We was at Circle City Classic tailgate last week. They asked me to come host that, and I said the difference being they was like, I said, well, you got somebody who's actually a Circle City Classic kid. I be kid, so you asked somebody to bring back. We got taken away, but because going to that, put the blueprint on me. I remember we said we had a clothing line back in the old 2002 5 called Naeem, name above every name.
I love that.
So it was just like, so I know, like, when I see folks with new clothing and everything, I'm like, great. But you're going to have to impress me. I love the support. I was like, but been there, done that. I done grind to the point where I'm just like, I know the game. I did fashion shows. I did consignments. This is as a 20-year-old kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to really impress me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's more than just putting a little nice. Ooh, that nose is nice on the
Yeah.
shirt that everybody, the Gilbert shirt or whatever, the Gildan shirt.
Yeah, the little Gildan.
You know,
Yeah.
I get the game, you know. And so, but now, man, we had the kids out there dancing. Then I had the adults out there dancing. Then I had everybody out there dancing. Then I had the Greeks dancing. They had, and then I think even we had Tony Cleveland. We had Tragic out there.
Oh, I saw that.
You know
Oh,
what I'm
wow.
saying?
I
But
can't
it's
believe
like,
I missed
and it
all
was
that.
just kind of
I'm
one
so
thing that where
Mhm.
even they gave me my props because it's like I know that you're gonna operate and y'all gonna do y'all thing and wait. What brings you to that? My superpower is I can operate over here with you. I can operate over there with them. I can operate over them, and then I can bring y'all all together, and we can all.
I think that's my
6
superpower.
degrees
Like,
of
that's-
separation
and I
is
can bring you all
wild.
in one place
Yeah.
and make
Mhm.
it feel like you at the backyard party at your grandmama's house for
No,
her.
for real.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've done all those experiences. Like, I'm just making y'all feel like family. I even
Mhm.
asked the
Yeah.
kids. I said, give me yell if you feel safe. All the kids yell. You know what I'm saying? This is like
Mhm.
you feel safe. This so the adults like you need to be shaken out of your numbness
Mhm.
Right.
and take this
Remember.
feeling with you
Right.
that you had a great time. The kids were safe. Everybody felt safe. It's food. There's music. We dancing. We having a good time. You
And
don't
it
even
don't
want to
have
leave.
to be none of the razzle dazzle.
And you didn't even want to leave. They
Yeah.
didn't want to leave. They didn't want to leave until I told them, okay, you can leave now. You sure? Like, yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And he left, but it was good to be able to say, I was able to give Circle City Classic, that moment
It's
that
getting
it really needed. Is just like you took away the core, which is love, which is family, which is celebrating
Mhm.
one another.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I always refer back to like StarQuest and
That's
the
what I
Greek Step
remember.
Show,
Yeah.
and it was just like, look, if that's going to help do so much for this person's confidence. That's the person who's cheering them on. That's going to do so much for their EQ and learning like, let me love you instead of let me
Mhm.
hate you. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And then if
Mhm.
you got somebody who can really operate the crowd, it's just like, listen, I want you to cheer for everybody. We got
That-
judges. You let them do that, but I want
But
you to
we-
cheer for
yeah.
everybody, whether you came to support them or not. Just so it's like I'd rather you cheer them and support them than when you see. Hopefully, you don't see them on the casket on the news and saying that's a damn shame. Another somebody that got killed.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
over it.
I'm over. Oh my gosh.
Like I'm over it. Like
Yeah.
and yeah, like to our point, like earlier, it's like whatever we got to do to join, it's like we need to have a psychological war on the evils in people's mind. I feel like one of them old creepy cartoons where it's like
No,
mind
for real.
control over everybody.
Right.
Where I
That
feel like
goes
I
back,
gotta be
they
stuck in
clone
there.
Tyrone.
You know
That's
what I'm
what.
saying? It's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
All
man,
the
we gotta-
messaging behind.
Yeah,
And like we have the power to be able to counteract that.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Jamie
And,
Foxx killed they clone Tyrone, by the way.
Didn't he? I was
Yes.
so glad to see him back.
Wasn't it
They
just
look at the clone
ironic how
Jamie
it
Foxx.
all went around the whole thing with him in the hospital and
Yes,
people
that's
talking about he was
interesting.
cloned and they're just like, I don't know, there's so many levels of like fantasy and reality and conspiracy.
We don't know which
which
is which. I was about to say.
Right.
We don't know which is
It's
which.
I really don't
confusion.
anymore.
Yeah, it
I
creates
just have
confusion.
subscribed to the fact that it's not my business, and I'm gonna live in my
That
reality.
part.
I'm gonna live in my reality.
That
And that's
part.
it.
Like you said, I'm
And
gonna worry about my web. I'm
worry
gonna worry about my
myself.
bubble. Like it's
Yeah.
funny you talk about the 6 degrees of separation, because for Classic Weekend on that Thursday, I kicked off a show with Tony and Tragic that were at the same show as me.
And here
So
we
isn't
are.
that right? And it's just like,
And like, do you know that
full
hosts
circle.
and folks of this caliber are actually connecting now?
Like
Who
that's-
connect other
that's
people? That's
wild.
crazy. So we
Yeah.
done over there.
Yeah, I didn't
All good.
realize it was still on, but
Yeah.
Oh, they got a mouthful.
yeah, no,
okay?
that's okay because
They got a lot.
it'll be released in about a month, so
Yeah,
they get to hear it all again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so
They can see it in different format.
mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll get the teaser, and I'm gonna delete that. That's only gonna be up until the end of the day.
Well,
Ooh.
So
I
whoever
know you
saw
said
it.
creativity. I don't know what our time cap is.
Oh, we still got
But-
some time.
Yeah, but are we asked then? That do we have to share out? Because I'm anxious to you didn't mention ancestors a couple of times, like to the point of like.
Oh, you wanna hear it?
need
Oh, you wanna
something,
hear it?
Like,
We can
like,
play it
because
real
then-
quick.
Yeah, play it because then I'm
You
gonna
gonna play
do
it?
mine.
You gonna play it when we play it?
I can
Bet.
play it.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got it
Look, I
right
got
here.
Josh's beat over here.
Nice. You gonna spit some?
Yeah, look, you got the
Come on, we
juices
got to
flowing
get
now.
into it. We
Everything.
done had some good conversations.
Okay, so you really got to pay attention to the lyrics of everything that I write, but this is ancestors.
We're gonna put it up to the mic.
I can't.
So you gonna play the music and you gonna
Hold on.
I
spit?
mean, we could talk about some of it, but you know,
Here,
that's,
just
it's
hold it
all
up to the
there.
mic.
Okay,
And play it and hold it up to
it's
the mic.
all there. It's all there. I say you got to know where you come from. The tree bears the fruit, so you need to know your roots. That's how I started off.
Yeah. You gotta know where you come from. You see, the tree bears the fruit, so you need to know your roots. Crown, ancestors, mixed with slave and oppressor. Say they name, they present you with they blessings and protection. Watch it close from the ether. Be right there when they need you. Guiding your steps, divinely blessed. Knocking out your door, do you feel the force? African of the Americas. History they not telling us. Our culture silence, the pride and violence that killed the Mayans. Man, now in timeless. Oral stories told before me. Dance to get thunder roaring. They had to hide it, kept it inside. Stored in my genes, they still alive. Redefining what's normal. I'm a savage informal. Bred in my blood, this hate and love. It comes together, we in this forever. Y'all the ones in my heart. Every piece is a part. Balance and karma, a state of dharma. Black, white, red, y'all all in my head. But this was part of the plan. Natives losing their land. African slaves, white pride and rage. Years of deception, lies and depression. So we had to hold on to love. Seeing the picture above. Our souls came to grow, forgot what we know. But even though we stripped, spirits didn't forget the universal truth. That the body gets the suit. You can take their lives, you can take their ways. To the language lost, but the message stays. So remember who you are. That's the point of your resistance. Vikings and natives was the only difference. With us, the debt has been paid, and now we're paving our way to peace and salvation. The Lord has tested our patience. Ancestors, they feed and protect us. Their seed and their blessing. In my dream inception, pretending that shit's okay doesn't make it go away. Ayy, pretty in space so vain, anything to make it stay. Ayy, transmute the pain through fame, mastering alchemy. Ayy, beauty and grace insane, bitches ain't come to play. Ayy, like low cocked, I'm gon' shoot it. If the shoe fits, I'm gon' boot it. This light and dark, I'm not choosing. Infiltrate the way, though I'm cruising. I'm stardust and I'm shining. Divine light and it's blinded. My aura strong, I don't stand alone. Ancestors long and they fight it. And it hurt to lose my people. Heart stand strong with a cripple. Hate in my veins, trying to explain how I move it. Just stay simple. Say I take my grief and eat it. Murder and death to my achievements. With spirits on my side beaming. The dead got the key to living.
So that's pretty much it. It goes on the course another time, but that's
Man.
yeah. So now are you
I'm just trying to process what I just
are
heard
you
No,
here.
for real,
putting
right.
it down? 'Cause I meant every single word.
Yeah.
She's super lyrical.
Oh, I get it.
Mhm.
I get it. And like I said, I recognize.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like I'm putting a spell on you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to do something with your mind with these words, and
Right.
everybody's like I know I'm trying to get paid from these words, but it's just like, and I want people to relate, but if relating is going to bring somebody harm who does not necessarily relate, but takes your perception
Mm-hmm.
as their truth,
Is it worth it?
and
I feel
then
like people
if
should
they-
be responsible.
you know
for
what I'm
that,
saying? Just like
you know?
Mm-hmm.
You put that stuff
Yeah.
out and somebody's
Yeah.
literally listening to your music on the way to cause harm.
yeah.
So they can get that demon on top of them
Mhm.
to help them do what they're doing.
Because that's how you process your situation.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas my son, let's say my son,
He ain't live that life.
like he ain't lived
Right.
none of that,
Right.
and like, it's crazy because my sister would tell her son was like, man, y'all don't really know how hood your uncle is, and she does it almost like a threat, but in me, I'm just like, hood don't necessarily mean like I was in the hood doing in the streets.
Right.
That
Yeah.
means that I wasn't exempt.
Right.
There's a dead body right there. I see it.
Mm-hmm.
They over here selling high right there. I see it.
Mm-hmm.
If,
That goes
if
back to
somebody that we done been
transmutation.
robbed, I see it.
Mm-hmm.
We got to move again. I see it.
Mm-hmm.
You better know them ounces on that wick slip so you know what cereal box to get. I see it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also see it's like, okay, I got to see through it
Mm-hmm.
to see towards, because I said my goal was I'm going to graduate from college. I said my goal was I'm going to be successful. I said my goal was And so again, I had to take that word in my own as a 15-year-old kid. Say, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna have to make it mean it for me.
Yeah.
Everybody's not in that position. I get it. Everybody does not want to. But like I said, my circumstances definitely molded me into the point where I always felt like a lonely person. I've never had dinner with my parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when I sit down at the dinner table with my kids, and I'm experiencing this whole little thing.
Yeah.
Same time with them, like where you're able to have dinner with your mother and father. Me, nah, man, I was just a kid, a village kid. So whoever watching Eric. Eric over here doing this. Eric climbing the tree. Eric then took the keys and drove the car backed it out into the middle of the street. Eric done set the bed on fire. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody was watching Eric, but Eric was watching everybody else.
Yep.
Like I would literally climb trees just to look down and watch everybody. Where Eric? I'm right.
But you know what? That goes into like that victim versus the warrior mindset.
Right.
And
We get
I
to
feel
make
like
a
more
choice.
warrior than victim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a victim. Like you can, like we were talking about transmutation, you can take those experiences and transmute them into art or poetry or music or even just giving back to somebody. Some people transmute that negative energy into kindness,
Right.
which can be a slippery slope because some of it can be trauma based and people pleasing.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
I feel like that's kind of my gift. Like I transmute my negative experiences into loving other people very intentionally. Like I really have a gift of understanding like the true definition of what love means. And I notice like that's my gift. I can love people unconditionally. And it used to be very trauma based into people pleasing, but when I really started getting into being a parent and when I really got into studying like spirituality and Jesus and the word, love is not two ways. We think it's two ways because we are so used to transactional. I love you too. But that's not how Christ loved people.
Right.
Christ loved everybody no matter what.
Despite
where
what
they
else
were.
is going on.
Love, like when you love somebody, you have to have the expectation of them not returning it because that's not what love is.
Right.
You accept and not necessarily, I mean, you can accept, I guess, to a degree. You don't have to agree with everything they say, but you can respect it and really just appreciate people who they are for where they are. And that's really all it's about. Like you said, we can transmute our experiences from something negative, things I've been through, not experiencing love and being lonely, into being very intentional about the things we do to not spew on other people, but it also creates a healing within yourself too.
Yeah.
So like I think that's the importance of that transmutation we keep talking about.
Transmutation is really everything. 'Cause that's why I live so intentionally, and I'm so grateful for every day because I know people that don't have any more days. You know what I mean? They don't have any more days, and it can be very routine. You know, you wake up, you take a shower, drink your coffee, check like you know what I mean. It's very routine, and I'm a very spontaneous person, so I would find myself being ungrateful because I'm just like, oh, life is just so monotonous. Like it's just the same old same. But there's some people that don't have that anymore at all. So I'm extremely grateful for every moment that I get to do anything and have my senses and be able to share messages from the Most High and channel those, you know, because there are people that don't have that anymore. They're just out here like, you know, coming through in dreams and sending these messages. And I'm sure it's fun. You know what I mean?
Or
but
they
then
just
at the same
living
time,
in a zombie
they don't-
apocalypse.
Right. Like there's
People
just
walking dead. Like we see that a lot too.
Yeah.
I see robots. I see
NPCs.
I see zombies.
A lot of non-player
And I see
characters.
ghosts.
For real.
Right,
No, for
robots,
real.
zombies, and ghosts.
Oh my gosh, that is so true.
And I say that
when
because
you think about it, it is so
Yeah.
true.
A lot of people are the Walking Dead, you know. I
The
mean, we're
Walking
all
Dead.
really
Zombie.
technically
That's
the
what
Walking
this.
Dead.
That's the
because these
opioid
are
movement and the crack
expired.
movement
and
and all
then
the
the robots
substance
is we
use.
so
And we the robots because we attached to
so
our
to that.
jobs.
And then with the
Yeah.
ghosts, it's just kind of like
Complacency.
with that, and on top of that, like I'm literally seeing where somebody took their last breath, and now that's happening so much. It's just
Oh my
kind of
gosh,
like
yes.
it's like I'm again. The time that sometimes when I'm alone, that'll be a time where I go see my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I go hang out with him. So it's just like all I have is these images of people who I used to kick it with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I think about that ghost, like, man, it's a lot more people that I used to kick it with are dead than a lot more people than I kick it with that are alive.
And you know
and
what?
so
I never
now I'm
thought
just
about
kind of
that.
like, and I know a lot of
you be
people, we
chilling
cool
with
and
the ghosts
everything
and
like that. It's
stuff,
like,
you
but it's just
know?
so like, no. And then with my father's cake, it's like, that's my dad. You know, now we get into this caregiver phase. My grandfather was a caregiver. You know, I made a post the other day, like sometimes the only person I want to talk to is in heaven right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I mean, the people who call me constantly don't call me no more.
And you know what?
And
That's
anybody else
crazy.
call me now, they want to, you know. So
A lot of black men experience that, which I think has a lot to do with the community that's created in black men. And I was thinking about this a lot. Like, women have community, which is why I feel like black women thrive the way we do. Because black women by nature, we create communities among ourselves. A lot of us are single parents, so we have our own little community with our kids at home. Black women we are good at creating and building communities within ourselves.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the breakdown with black men is that you guys don't necessarily have that. And I've been talking to a lot of black men, like the spaces
the
are,
communities get broken.
yeah, because they're, like you said, they dead, died at a young age, or there's like this animosity, or like, and I just think men by nature haven't been conditioned to lean on one another like women have.
Right.
And so a lot of the things that y'all face, you have to deal with alone. And I'm like, dang, that's crazy. I was watching a podcast with Tim Ross and Lecrae, and that's what the podcast was talking about, just the fact that men don't have community the way women do.
Yeah.
And the things that men go through. Like, you're not the first person that I've heard say that. My friend Lamont says the same thing. Lamont, he talks about how, like, his cousin was his best friend. And his cousin's not here no more. So he's like, I ain't got no friends because that was the person I was closest to. So y'all may have like one or two people.
And we got a clique of guys too.
Yeah,
like
but I mean,
as we get older, we have our own
responsibilities
responsibilities and
change.
everything, and we have to be. And then Josh gets on us about this, like we have to be
Intentional.
intentional about, because Josh used to be in town. We going to the hookah spot. We going to the hookah spot, and he knows how to synergize around. Like you don't have to come. But that's, this is where I'm going to be, and I'm going to be in town. I love to see you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, and everybody likes the hookah.
Right. We all.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how we get together.
And
like,
it's almost like it feels like a version of Cheers.
No, that's what we always say.
You know what I'm saying? But that's the kind of energy Josh had when he used to come in town. But now he's in town, and he's like, well, hey, how do we do this? How do we kick? It's like, bro, you in town now. You know, you got to work.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
working
saying?
in
like, but we still have to be intentional about it. Say, well, forget it. He just texted me. He's like, we need to have a dinner or something. Like, we still gonna eat. Let's just go eat together. Let's figure this out.
That. Yeah.
I love
we
that
need to be like our
intentional,
OGs,
though,
man, and say,
know?
hey, come on over here. We're gonna be playing some cards.
Dinner, we're gonna
Bring
play
some
like
meat.
a lot of times people
Yeah.
think we have time,
We do. And we take it for granted.
Rest in peace, Mike Trees, who
Rest
just
in peace,
had
Mike.
his service over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that the last time I saw him was going to be the last time that I ever got to see him. And
When was the last time you saw?
Man, so look, me and him worked together on Belmont Beach. And I do their graphics. He was the vice president. So we just had a meeting. Everybody got their new shirts. Everything was great. So him and one of the other ladies in our group, Pinky, they were like, we about to go to the living room lounge. And I was like, man, I'm about to go sit with my OGs. You know what I mean? Everybody else went home, went on about their day or whatever. And I almost went home, but something told me to go. You know, so I did. And we was there for, from the time we got there until they closed. We did not know that they were having Wagon Wednesday. We done stumbled on some mess, okay? So we was in there having a good old time, all right? And, Mike's a gentleman. He, paid for my little food, my little drinks, Pinky stuff, too. Just a gentleman all throughout, and made sure we got to our cars because there was some BS going on after everything started letting out. You know how people don't know how to act. So, some girls that got into it. Somebody done pulled a pistol, and they doing the most. And, yeah, so he had to make sure that everybody was okay. And he had got on me that day because the time before that, I ran into him at Mr. Dan's. And, just randomly, we just like, hey, you know what I mean? Because, we work together, but, we don't really see each other outside of that too often. So that was cool. We chopped it up till the food got cold. You know what I mean? Just because that's what you do when you see your people.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't realize. He was telling me we had taken a picture then. He was like, where that picture at? You never sent me that picture. And I was like, my bad. So I airdropped it to him when I saw him again. But did not know that was going to be my last time seeing him.
Yeah.
So just being intentional about spending time with people
Mm-hmm.
and cherishing that time is everything.
It really is.
Yeah.
I like being everywhere, but like I said, my long time is a long time, and I'm just alone. But I really do want to come out of that. It's like I have to really dig deeper into my art, just to kind of help me create that space. But at the same time, I still got to make sure I have that time to me, my kids, my privacy. You know what I'm saying? And just to, like, I'm walking, I'm exercising, right? But yeah, man. Again, it goes back to the metaphysics earlier. We don't like this knowing the same people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the last time I saw Mike Trees, right? First time, 2019, 2018, when I was hosting out an Icon with Open Mic and Bite. And they said, we going to bring in Mike Trees to help co-host with you. I'm like, I don't need no co-host. You know what I'm saying? Who's this Mike Trees? Like, Mike Trees is a legend in the game.
He's a legend, yeah.
If we bring it in Mike Trees, it's only because you got what it takes, but we want you to, if we can connect you to Mike Trees, then he'll be able to tell you what you need.
Yeah.
Right? And so after that first little, I felt like I was auditioning, but I was like, forget it, I'm going to be myself. And that's what he said, be yourself. And that's what I did. And, so I'm learning from him, I'm watching him, and next thing you know, we hosted some more shows together, down there, and just kind of learn how he got down. And I'd already been doing some shows here and there with Ebony. I have her co-host on Community Conversations, and I didn't even make that connection until like I said later. You know what I'm saying? That was her dad. Like, before he died, of course. But she's like, that's my dad, right? I was like,
she did the same thing at the Belmont Beach meeting. She was like, yeah. Oh, and by the way, that's my dad.
That's my dad. I was like, so I'm working with 6 degrees of separation, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm working with your daughter, you know what I'm saying? Oh, both on something that I'm passionate about. But Sigma Gamma Rho block party, about 2 months ago, he was there. I put my stuff up, Green-Eyed. Like, what up, Trey? You know what I'm saying? He was up underneath the tent. He said, where your tent at? I was like, man, I'm not fooling with that tent, man. He said, where you about to go? I was like, man, I use the restroom. Go on over here. I was like, they'll let you go.
Always
and I went up here, you know what I'm saying? They went in there, used the bathroom, right on, Mike, then came back out. And as I was leaving, you know what I'm saying? All right, Mike, I'm out. All right, Green-Eyed.
I don't know where he got the energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But he honored my Green-Eyed, right?
Yeah.
Like, when we was in that set, somebody was like, I ain't better call no other man no Green-Eyed. But it's just like, when I'm in host mode, I'm not just the guy on the mic. It's just like, I got to make sure I'm in communication with my DJ. I'm kind of make sure that everything's flowing well. I got to make sure that there's no dead space. I got to make sure that this is an experience for people.
Experience.
You know what I'm saying? So anytime I get on the mic or do things now, it's like I realize I bring an experience. I'm an experience having an experience, but it's like people don't really recognize that in themselves. Like, I can make it may seem like it's about me, but I'm just moving the energy in the room.
We all have that power. We just don't tap into it.
Yeah.
That's
what I admire about Mike, though.
Yeah.
He really had that. Like, that's why I was like, I don't know where he would get the energy just to, like, how do you keep up with all these people and loving on them and pouring life into them? Like, that takes a lot.
I didn't know him personally, but I saw all the things, like, going around when he passed away, and I'm like, okay, that's how I want to be remembered.
Right.
Impactful.
I feel good at that. I just feel like, to earn the respect from somebody like that, because like I said, I had to keep doing it, and more of the stuff just kept, was hosting down with gang with summer things, and like the more, I was like, after a while, I was like, Eric, you got a portfolio, man. And so it's like, for somebody like Mike to be able to recognize, and we had did a show with last year or the year before that, and Maxie performed, Skip performed, and I think Tragic might have performed. But we had all took that picture right there at Riverside, and it was all 5 of us right there in that picture. So and so when they posted, like, I think around somebody for his services or whatever. I was like, I took that picture.
Like,
you know what I'm
was
saying?
neat.
It's like, but that was
Yeah.
what I love about being a host. And like you
Mhm.
said, when you're on that stage, I'm really kind of set apart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know people are watching me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Yeah.
people watching. I'm gonna give you something to see.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or give you something to
You
feel.
tap
Where it's like,
in.
I ain't about
Yeah.
to
And
take
that's
my
that
ass
crowd
out
Because
some
we
club.
experience
too.
each other
Yeah.
like that.
Right,
Like
right.
we, like I said, we all could tap into that. Like that's the whole
Mhm.
thing. I've been really intentional about like understanding that people experience me.
Yeah.
My best friend, she always says she asks people like, "How do you experience me?" Like she was
Mhm.
intentional about like asking people how do you experience me? I've never experienced me. I live with me. How do you experience me?
Well, I'll give you a review.
You go, then I go.
I just love that every time we have any type of interaction, I always leave feeling inspired.
I love that.
You know, and I want to do that with my shows. Is, you know, if you notice, like sometimes you'll go to a concert and you leave and you tired. And it's just like, dang, I'm not even the one that was on stage doing
Yeah.
all of that. Why am I tired? Because they were draining your energy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you notice when you leave like a motivational speech, you leave believing in
Hype.
yourself and
Yeah.
feeling inspired and full of love and full of life. That's how you make me feel.
I love that, sis.
Yes.
And likewise, I would probably have to say the same thing about you.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yes, like I really feel like when I first met, so we met because we do the speaker box with Lamont Stokes every week,
Mm-hmm.
and she was a guest,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like week 2 of me doing the show with Lamont this year.
That was only your second week?
It was my
doing
second
I
week.
did not know that.
Yep. And she walked through the door, and I'm like, oh, she's cute. And she came and sat down because it was a bunch of us in the room. She came and sat down next to me, and it was like, hey, girl, how you been? I ain't seen you in forever. Like, we literally just started
Right.
talking,
Right.
and it was like no days had passed, but I never met her. Like, that was literally
That's
our
how
first
you can
interaction.
recognize when somebody is a soulmate.
Yep, we
you
said
have
that. It was
more
like,
soulmates than just like, you know, who you think is supposed to be like the one
Your
you married, the one
romantic
you with.
partner.
Yeah. It's so much deeper than that.
yeah.
The people that you're meant to be on this path with,
Mhm.
when you meet them, it will
You
feel
know.
like, finally,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, dang, where you been? Like, I
Yeah.
missed you.
Yeah, like literally we were like siblings or best friends or something in a past life because
It was just
like, I
so, it
already
was
knew
very
her.
comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, there was no like space of like, oh, I gotta get to know. Like, no,
It was
just
never
like,
that.
Hey.
It was like, hey girl, come on, where
Yeah.
you been? I ain't talked to you in like 3
Right,
weeks. Like
right.
it was like the conversation was so fluid,
Mhm.
and I think that's why Lamont asked her to come on the
Yeah.
show with us because our energy.
Yeah,
was
and he
like
said it then. He
instant.
was like, dang.
He was like,
okay.
he asked me afterwards. He says, "You knew her?" I said, "No, I met her now."
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
now
That was the
30.
first time he-
I met her now. I met her an hour ago.
Yeah.
That
Well-
was so amazing, though.
I would say that in knowing you, that it kind of brings a sense of healing to my situation. Knowing that, like, I'm in a boat where a lot of people are, where you might grow up with one parent primarily, and so you adjust to that side of the family. Growing up with my father's side of the family, I'm not able to really kind of connect. And when he might come to get me, it was almost like a field trip. It was a field trip. I mean, I remember.
probably was.
I remember sometimes we taking a bus. Sometimes we in his low rider when he had that truck back in the day
Yeah.
that he burned up. But hey,
Yeah.
but then but then I remember when we would come to your house over on College. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'd be you, and sometimes Lauren is just kind of like, and this is who.
Yeah. Like, who they get?
And then, but it was no time to actually build a relationship to actually earn that. This is my cousin. Cousins,
Yeah.
you got each other's back.
And we
Cousins, you
really
always around
met
each other.
before
Yeah.
because, okay, so his brother / best friend is my
Slash
cousin
sad
on my
step
mama.
of a step of uncle.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
my blood
wow.
cousin on my mom's
Mom's side,
side.
right.
Yeah.
So I met Eric as a kid because he used to be over there all the time, and me and Josh were real close when we were teenagers.
Mhm.
But I never knew that he was related to me.
like never made that
never,
connection.
never made the
Wow.
connection.
That's wild.
Ain't that crazy?
So when
Never
did y'all
mind, he
realize
looks
that?
exactly like his father.
Yeah.
But
Without the eyes and the gap, and,
Like, he looked,
and
like, I
minus
like-
2 inches from.
but he really got his whole face.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is
So,
like-
but yeah, that kind of offers that, because I tell
I
you, it
love
was like
that.
every year it was like, hey, this your cousin. Hey, this your cousin.
Mhm.
You don't know your AT such. I'm like, man, you got 20 brothers and
Family's
sisters,
huge,
man.
too.
Right.
Like, and I don't know nobody. I feel like Miss Sophia when she came back for Christmas.
I don't know y'all no more.
Yeah.
I knew y'all not never. But and knowing that is just like it's good because, and I kind of even want that incognito because I know she moves around this, that, and other. So it's like I got eyes, she got eyes, and like it's good to know that somebody really truly has your back and
Best
has your
interest,
interest
yeah.
in mind.
Yeah.
And me, where I've kind of been around this, that, and other, getting in my circle is just. It's like I told myself, this is either day ones or nobody, but now she just
Yeah.
kind of like wherever day ones are is that, and there's no
Yeah.
alternative motives. It's no.
Because all his day ones
Yeah.
is like my day ones. For real.
So-
Yeah. And like blood, we family. So,
Yeah, so like it's blood
we're
over
really
here now, and
family.
that's different.
and I love that. Same.
beautiful.
Same. It's like it's always like no days have passed. I would consider both of y'all soulmates
Mm-hmm.
because it's always been that.
All right, we're gonna do some collective meditation. Bro said we got 2 minutes. Look, that is.
We
are
gonna
we gonna do it for real?
collectively meditate.
Look, I'll do my poem later.
So this has been a fantastic conversation. I think I'm gonna do it in 2 parts. I don't know yet.
Ooh.
Gotta give them a cliffhanger. But yes, I want to thank y'all for tuning in, and you guys will be able to find both Eric and Lakshmi on their social media platforms, which I will post below. And yeah, listen on all audio platforms and YouTube. That's where you can find us, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.